Hello, travelers of the internet. Welcome back to Guardian Studios. Or if you are new to the channel, hey there and welcome to ya. My name is JGuardo1, and I am your host, your guide, and your humble bard into the world's virtual. And I'm very pleased to welcome you all back to the channel, or in the case of newcomers, welcome you fresh to the Guardian Studios experience here on the YouTube channel. We are diving back into the world of Galabor, my friends, where we have, as usual, a lot of work to do. Today's first focus is going to be going back over to the gold farm. Now, you guys may or may not have seen that I've been working on building a passive gold and XP farm here in the overworld. Well, I actually finished it. It's fully functional and working, but it has one small problem. Storage. It needs it, and it needs it fast. Especially considering it's going to be producing a ton of items every time I use it. There's just no buts about it. It's going to be filling up with a bunch of stuff, and I need to make sure that it's not going to, you know, lag the world out whenever I go AFK. Because I wouldn't put it past it to do that. I would not. So, I actually want to go over to the gold farm after I make sure I've got all the materials I want to work with this and start setting up a storage system that will work with what we've got over there to give us everything we need in terms of storage and keep everything organized. Admittedly, part of this idea that I have is going to be a matter of bringing over some copper chests at some point to help get items out of the system, out of the storage under the actual farm, and put it all where it's going to be able to be easily accessed and organized and all that. It's going to be interesting figuring out how to set all that up in the way that I want it. But I am nothing if not determined to get it done. Just 1 second, checking on something here. Would that work? I mean, it might. But again, it may not. Well, I'll figure it out. Alright, so do I have any copper chests already stored here? I don't think so. I think I kinda like beta tested all my copper golem and copper chest curiosities, all the things I was wondering about in my Twitch world. Which, I mean, it makes sense that I did it that way, doesn't it? I think it does. Oh, hey! Hey, Leo! Good to see you, man. Glad you can make it. How you doing? Doing alright? I hope so. I'm doing real good, my friend. Alright, so thinking. Lots of thinking going on here. Thinking I'm gonna grab this and that last gold ingot, iron ingot. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear you're doing splendid. It's not often I hear people say things like that, doing splendid. Not many people say it that way. That's actually kind of fascinating when you stop and think about it. It really is. It really is kind of fascinating when you stop and think about it. Not many people use that, and yet it means exactly what you would expect it to mean. They're actually doing really good. Hang on 1 second. I'm checking some notes of mine. Yeah, so my plan at this point... Hang on. What was that? Huh. I don't know why I wrote that. I am doing pretty good, Leo. Thank you for asking. Just a little distracted checking on my notes. There were some things I was trying to write that I don't quite understand why I wrote them. You ever have a situation like that? You make a note of something and then later you go back and look and at your notes and you're just asking yourself, why did I write that? What was the point? You ever have situations like that? Because I have them almost constantly. Anyway, I think we're ready to get on with the project. So again, the focus of today's session is going to be to get the gold farm set up with storage so that we've got all the goodies that we want going where we want at the gold farm. Because, let's face it, right now the gold farm has no kind of storage. We need to fix that. Does bring to mind a question. Do I have any barrels around here? Because I could use those as buffers along the storage. Because I gotta make sure that the storage system is going to work the way I want it to. Got some slabs. Oh, different kinds of slabs. Grab bamboo slabs. These will work to make barrels, right? Yes. Yes. Good. So my plan is to involve copper golems and have them be putting items into chests that will be specifically for certain materials. Do I know for sure if it's going to work? No. Honestly, I'm kind of skeptical if this is going to work at all. If this actually does work out, I'm going to be absolutely amazed. But I'm going to give it my best shot. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Bedtime. It's bedtime. Bedtime, bedtime, time to go to bed. Bedtime, bedtime, time to go to sleep. And rest my head and get some sleep and say nothing, no, not a peep. Alright, and now we get back to heading over to the gold farm. At some point, I should go into the gold farm portal and see if I can find my missing allay. Because there is an allay missing from my bundle of companions at this point. One little allay was helping me work on the gold farm, and I'm pretty sure he drifted into the portal while I was making sure it would work. Not a good situation. If that little guy is lost in the nether, he doesn't do me any good. Check it out. Look at that structure. That's the gold farm. It is a very weird but impressive kind of structure, isn't it? And I'm not kidding. I'm seriously thinking that what we might do is just set up a bunch of chests for copper golems to pump stuff into. One for rotten flesh, one for gold nuggets, one for gold ingots, and just, as they fill up, expand the storage with hoppers and more chests, or maybe with barrels instead of chests, and just keep filling it up so that we've got a ton of stuff, a ton of storage. And of course, we would have to have a chest meant for siphoning off the gold swords. That is part of why I'm thinking we might do the copper golem thing. Because that way we know the copper golems are going to get the stuff pulled out. They'll put the rotten flesh, the gold nuggets, the gold ingots where they're meant to go. And then, as stuff is pumped into those places, the golems will also be grabbing the golden swords and sticking them in a chest that will lead into a furnace array that'll smelt them down. Honestly, I really like that idea of having a system over here that's based in copper golems that will get rid of all the gold swords for us. Because the gold swords are just junk. They're not something I actually need to hold on to. I really would like to do that. It'd be a nice, simple solution to the problem of storage over here. Which I can already tell is going to be a big problem. I came over here and I didn't bring any pumpkins for copper golems. That's okay. I really ought to worry about setting up the buffer in all of this first. I need to actually build the storage system before I decide how it's going to be emptied. Because I know we're going to have those here. Gonna have to have hoppers right here with hopper carts on top. That's just a given. I mean, it's like there's no getting around that little notion. We're going to have hopper carts on top of there to pick up all the items. So otherwise there's no easy way to do it that's not going to risk our trident not being able to hit the piglins, the zombie piglins. But where can I have... How can I set this up so that there's plenty of room for this stuff to all go? Kind of curious how fast this stuff will go down to the bottom. See, that's what I was hoping. It's actually really fast, because these hoppers are pulling from these, and then these are pulling from both of them. So yeah, that's nice and fast. It's good. It's very good. I figure I can chain that kind of thing going all the way down to wherever I want to build this storage. My one concern is if there's going to be enough room down there for what I want to do. Because ideally, I'd like to have a mechanism or something. I'd like to have it be that I have a super smelter down there specifically for cooking up all the gold swords and any gold armor into more nuggets. Because that's the only good thing about these gold swords. You could disenchant any enchanted ones that manage to get through, but there's not really much point. There's just really not much point to doing that. I forgot to bring my bed. I forgot to bring my bed again. Wow. 3 in 1. Okay, yep, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Spare bed. Where's the bed? There it is. Eventually I'm going to enclose this whole spot where I'd be sitting. But I'd like to set up a super smelter of furnaces to cook up all the gold swords into more nuggets so that we keep having more gold. And I can have all those gold nuggets go to an output for specifically for them, with a couple of copper golems in there, pumping it into the bottom of the nugget chest. Because ultimately what I'd like to set up is a system that filters the nuggets, the ingots, the rotten flesh, and pumps it into a storage system even deeper down, and then have copper golems down there moving any nuggets from the furnace, from the sword smelter, into the nuggets, into the nugget chest. There we go. We got 2 sets of revolving whatchamacallits, hopper carts, each with hoppers underneath them. Actually, I just had a thought. Could I potentially have just normal, just have something else there? Temporarily put these things here. Actually, what I'd rather use as the blocks to go in those spots is glass. But I don't have any with me. I don't have any at the ready. So I'm just gonna block it up. I gotta make it so that the animals around here can't get into the machine. Can't run any risk of them potentially fouling it up. I want to say a copper door you can open on your own. An iron door, you gotta power it to open it. This is what I want. I'd rather have that for security. gonna work out good. I can already feel this is gonna be good. Grab this bed so I can move it. Ow. Gotta have an enclosed space over here so that I'm not hounded by phantoms while I'm AFK. Otherwise, they'd probably end up killing me pretty darn quick. And there we go. Got a nice little shelter in here for when I'm AFK. Ah, dagnabbit. Alright, so this might be a little more complicated than I was hoping for. What to do about this? I do think we're going to end up continuing the pattern down as far as we want to go to get this storage system made. You know, hopper. So do hopper cart, on top of hopper, on top of hopper cart, on top of hopper, and just keep doing it downward. As far down as we're wanting to go. Till we get to the end. And then we'll have a system where it's copper chests, everything's emptying into copper chests. Those copper chests are emptying into a storage system. I will ensure it's all secure. All and sorted. Gold, rotten flesh, gold nuggets, all that stuff we've already talked about. It's all gonna get organized exactly the way we want it. Into exactly the place we want it. And there's going to be a lot of copper golems working it. I mean, if I play my cards right, I could have one copper golem. I could have one copper chest. Sucking up all the items from the system. And all the copper golems are just pumping all that stuff out of the system and into the storage. Just piling in nuggets and ingots and flesh like it's nobody's business, and dumping all the swords into a rapidly emptying chest that will send it off into a super smelter where it's all getting cooked up super darn fast. Theoretically, anyway. Now, if it could work the way that I really would want it to work, which I don't think it can, but if it could, I'm trying to visualize. Ideally, we'd want a system that sends a minecart, goes around and around in a circuit along the super smelter, just dumping everything that's in it into the system, filling it with gold swords, with another circuit feeding another circuit of minecart, filling it all up with fuel to cook up the crud, and then copper golem chain feeding, have copper golems feeding all those nuggets into the gold nugget storage, or into another mechanism that converts it all to all the nuggets to ingots, and pumps them into the gold ingot storage. It sounds complicated, but in practice it could be potentially very simple. But it would take a lot of iron for a lot of hoppers. I am going to have to go AFK at the iron farm after this. Start pooling a boatload of it. I wonder, could I do that as a buffer? Instead of using... Can hoppers put items in chest boats? I don't actually know. Can they? They can. Okay. I wondered if they could. So, I could potentially shove a chest boat into every other layer of the system in place of the hopper carts on the higher layer. Highest layer, of course, has got to be hopper carts in order to pick up the items, but the layers beneath that, like this layer, if the... yeah. This could work. So I actually need less iron and fewer hoppers for this part than I thought. And then, of course, at the very bottom, I'll go back to hopper carts. That way we get the most efficient drain of the items as possible. Or that we can possibly have. Why can't I get out? That's why. There we go. And then I'm thinking down here is when we're gonna start using hopper carts again. No, dang it. That'll do. And then again, down here is where we're going to set up filter chests for gold nuggets, gold ingots, and rotten flesh. And then we'll have an extra chest that's specifically for nothing, so that it can lead into the super smelter. I'm going to need pumpkins. There we go. Alright. Now, I want to make sure if this is going to be a lag fest or not with what we've got made here. I'm hoping it won't really be a lag fest, but who knows. Oh, one thing's for sure. Picking up all the items. So far, anyway. And so far, all the piglins are dying. Yeah, I think it's working. I think it's working out good. I think it may actually be a little bit slower than it had been because of the other stuff taking up the world, you know? Maybe. Kinda doubt it. You know, I almost wonder if I shouldn't get an impaling trident specifically and put water in the second block there. Because with tridents, when in Bedrock Edition, if something is wet and gets hit with an impaling trident, it makes it so the trident does more damage. So I'm just wondering if I shouldn't do that. Nice thing is, my stuff is almost fully restored. The only thing that's got a little bit of durability still not repaired is the pickaxe. I think that works out real good. And again, there'd be a swarm of copper golems down here, pumping stuff out of the copper chest here. I'd have it all be behind glass. I'm actually thinking, if I just do one copper chest here, and stuff's just constantly pumping in. This could work. Copper chest right here. And then have chest, 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 and chest. And the copper golems are all sitting in this space. They'll all be reaching into the copper chest, dumping everything into the other spots, and then boom. They'll be able to keep up, and the chests will get filled. The filter will slow down the loading of items a little. Not that much. Yeah. Alright, so I know what we're gonna do. Now it's just a matter of doing it. But I think that can wait for a little bit, because that's all the time I've got for this session, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, whether you were watching live or otherwise, please be sure to let me know by leaving a like, commenting, subscribing if you haven't done it yet, checking out the About page for links to other pages with more content, more ways to support the channel, sharing the channel with your friends who think they might enjoy it too, and of course, by smacking that notification bell, so that you don't miss the next stream or video. And with that all being said, thank you again for watching. I am JGuard01, your guide, your bard, and your humble host into the worlds virtual and fantastical. And I'll see y'all next time, right here on Guardian Studios. Bye!